Hey guys, how's it going? It's Shinobi here, and it's been 1 week since the Paragon leveling system has come out. I've been testing and testing and testing a lot of different things, specs, things that you can do to increase the amount of XP per hour that you get, just little stuff like that, and big stuff as well. Got tons of tips in this video for you. I promised that this would come out for you this week, and here you go. There's your video. But guys, on Tuesday, I always do giveaways. I always love to do giveaways for you guys to show my thanks for the support on the channel, for the subscribing, for the liking on the videos and the comments and all that great stuff. It helps me out a lot when you do that. So, I do appreciate it, and to show my appreciation, like we did last time, I gave away some gung-ho energy shots. If you don't know what they are, they're these energy shots that you take, kind of similar to like a 5-hour energy, but they taste a lot better. They taste kind of like a popsicle. I use them all the time. They help me out. I mean, I pretty much ditched soda now, and I just drink water and use those, and they help me with focusing on the game and also keeping my energy level up, especially with Paragon leveling. If you're playing 10-15 hours a day, you need that boost, and getting it from like an unhealthy thing like energy drinks or anything like that that's going to give you crash or jitters just doesn't make any sense. So I've been using that, and I did give it out last week in some videos, and a lot of players, they were kind of like unhappy with the fact that they had to pay shipping. So I went to the actual owner himself and I said, hey, I don't want my viewers paying shipping for something they won. Doesn't make any sense. He said, how about we do this? How about you give away a box of gung-ho in your next giveaway video, and we'll pay the shipping. So that's all you gotta do, guys. Comment, be subscribed, and like on the video, and you have a chance to be entered in to win a box of gung-ho, and there you go. So you're welcome for that, and definitely something to really consider. There's a link down below as well. If you click that and you do want to purchase some gung-ho, I'm going to be also giving away a box for anybody that purchases gung-ho. You get 50% off, and there's no shipping for anything that you do purchase for this week only. So make sure you get in there and you purchase that stuff. Let's get into the video and all the tips. And remember, guys, enter in the contest. You just got to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and you can win yourself a box of gung-ho. Alright, guys, and for the first tip that I want to give you, everybody kind of knew that the XP gems, they're going to be important because getting more experience, the gem you can put in your helmet, you can buy it off the auction house, you can make it yourself. Preferably, I would say to buy it off the auction house because I think you get it cheaper on the auction house. They have obviously the best one you can get. I think costs about 20 million gold. It's the ruby one, the red one, and you get 31%, I believe, of bonus XP. I don't 100% agree with people spending 20 million gold unless that's a very small amount of gold for you for this gem, because you can spend 2 million gold and get the 27%, which is only 4% lower increase for your helmet, and it only costs 2 million gold. So personally, I think that's a better value there, so that could be something you can think of. The next tip I want to give you guys is AoE specs. Now, if you want to do something and you want to do it quickly, you got to do a lot of it. So in the background, you're seeing that I'm playing both my Demon Hunter and my Barbarian, trying out various AoE specs and just testing the game. That's what I was doing all week long, was just testing what works, what doesn't. I'm going to release some specs for both Demon Hunter and Barbarian, and I'll put a link down below in the description that shows my armory for both of those characters, so you can go and take a look at them, see what kind of specs they're running and everything. But I'm going to do a guide video, and I'm kind of tweaking the specs still, so expect that to be out soon. But AoEing down is very important, guys, because you get that bonus XP when you kill like a big group of mobs, or you continuously keep killing mobs and then you stop. You get that bonus XP. It could be 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. That stuff adds up. And so getting big waves of mobs, in my opinion, just works out a lot better than just going to do a butcher run and going to kill 5 packs and then just kind of like single targeting down mobs on the way. It doesn't really make sense to do any of that. In my opinion, you got to do the AoE thing. Try and pick more spells and more abilities that are going to be more suited towards killing multiple mobs at the same time, but also having some survival aspects in there too. Now the next one is just kind of an observation that I made, and I did a little bit of math here for you guys because I'm a math guy, I'm a numbers guy. I don't like to just theory craft and just come up out of things like out of thin air. I like to actually get the facts, actually get the stuff and actually like put it into play. And what I'm talking about here is before, when you grouped up with players, when someone would join your game, the amount of health that the mobs had in the game would increase by a certain amount of percent. Then another person came and it would increase by even more, than bigger number, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but now they just made it so just whenever someone joins your game, the mob increases by 75% health. Now I'm going to tell you why this is a factor and why this can help you out a lot. And Blizzard did something really smart here, and I totally agree with them by doing this. So when you're playing by yourself, you have to do 100% of the work, right? Whether you're a DPS class, whether you're a tanking class, whatever it is, when you're by yourself, you have to do 100% of the work. We're not counting your follower or anything like that in this situation. It's a very small amount that they help out, but you have to do 100% of the work. So when someone joins your game, now the mob's health is going to increase by 75%, making that number 175% health now. That's how much the mob has, 175% health now. So, but there's two people there now. So if you say that everybody in your game is equal and you guys all have the same amount of gear and you're all, same skill type players, say if you play with a lot of your friends or something like that, which is another point, try and play with people, try and stay at public rooms and just try and play with people that you're comfortable with, like your friends, if you are going to play with multiple people. So now that number gets divided by 2, and how much work are each of you doing together? Let's say you both are doing equal amount of work. How much do each of you have to do? Well, doing the math, 175% divided by 2 players is now 87.5%. Hey, wait, it was just 100% before. So it kind of makes sense to play with more players now. Okay, let's take it a step further. Now you add another person in there, 175% plus 75%. On top of that, take that number divided by 3 is 83.3%. Hey, wait, the number is getting lower now. Yep, that's the point of it. The very last one, when you have all 4 players in there, 100% plus 75 plus 75 plus 75, you're now looking at 81.25%, and that's how much each person has to do. So before you were doing 100% of the work, and now you're doing 19% less work, or 18.75% less work. It seems like Blizzard wants you to play with other players. So in my opinion, I personally, if I'm going to play with other players, I either play by myself or I play in a group of 4. Those are the best 2 ratios, because when you're by yourself, you control everything that goes on. You're the master of your own decisions. You have the, you can do all the damage yourself. You don't have to rely on other people. You can kite people. You can do whatever you need to. But when you're with a group of people, it's better to be with a group of 4, because that's the lowest percentage, and that just makes the most sense. Now for the next tip. Speaking of group action, guys, I gotta tell you, one thing that kind of irks me so much when I see people in groups is they go, okay, there's like a big area they go into, and they go, okay, I'm gonna go over here and recon and kill some mobs and blah 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 blah, and this guy's like, I'm gonna go over here and recon and do the same thing. No, never split up, and I'll tell you why. Because if you get too far away from each other, you don't get the XP. I don't know the exact range on how far away you have to get. That's not the main concern though. The main concern is if you're too far away from each other and he's killing trash mobs, even if it's one trash mob, all it takes is one trash mob, boom, your legendary drops, and you weren't around to pick it up. So now you gotta backtrack and go and pick it up or something like that, and it's very frustrating. Just move together in a big pack. And in my opinion, I think the #1 reason why a lot of players, they don't find a legendary, if you're not finding a legendary, if you play all day and you don't find one legendary per day, it's because you didn't watch all the mobs that you killed. You need to make sure that while you're going through and you're Paragon leveling, you stick together and you make sure you account for every single mob that was killed, because that mob could have dropped an amazing item that you just missed out on. The next tip I can give you guys is, players have been asking me, hey, do you think it's good to do the XP gear? Because there are some gear where you can actually increase the amount of XP that you get off of killing mobs and everything like that. That seems like a no-brainer, right? Like, why wouldn't everybody just do that? I don't think it's a good idea, and I'll tell you why. XP gear has been designed for players that were lower than level 60. So you're going to get level 59 or lower items that are XP bonus gear, which means that you're taking away a lot from your damage, you're taking away a lot from your survivability. It's just not worth it. I think that if you can go through quickly and clear mobs out, that you don't need all that bonus XP gear. So that's just something to think about, guys. You know, I haven't really tested it out. If you guys have tested it out, let me know in the comments below. Do you think that it was more profitable for you? If so, which classes profit the most from it? Alright, this next tip is going to be like a two-part tip series pretty much right here. And it is, which axe should I do? People, that's like the #1 question that people ask me. What axe should I do? What is the best farm routes? Like, what should I do? Well, right now I'm working on like an actual legitimate farm route, like the exact pinpoint what you should do for the best possible XP, and I will be releasing that video in the future, so make sure you're subscribed so you can see that video first before other players, so you can get a competitive edge. However, the best two acts are still Act 1 and Act 3. Why? They're the biggest. They have the most amount of rare pack, champ pack, elite packs, and they have areas in the maps that are just like highly concentrated with tons of trash mobs that you can AoE down like crazy. Also, envy stacks now give 75% bonus XP. They didn't give that before because you weren't getting XP before, but they do now, so making sure that you always have those envy stacks is important. I've talked to players where they say, you know, all I do is I just do Area Crater in Act 3 and just keep rinsing and repeating. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense because you're losing out on 75% XP because you keep remaking games every 10-15 minutes. No. Does this mean do a full clear on Act 1-3? Does that mean start from the very beginning quest line from Act 1 and just go all the way through? No. In Act 1, my opinion is to start from the Cursed Hold. That's a quest there. That's gonna enable you. That's gonna make sure that the Warden's not dead, the Butcher's not dead, and you're gonna have every waypoint available. That way you can kind of bebop around and go all around the, you know, the map you want, go anywhere you want, and just keep killing mobs. And I don't leave the act until I know there's no more rare packs, champ packs, elite packs, and there's no bosses. And I've killed most of the trash mobs. I keep going through quickly though. In Act 3, I would say it really depends because if you select the Asmodan run, that's great. A lot of people do that. They do the Asmodan thing and they kind of like waypoint all around because you get all the waypoints, which is definitely a good idea. Some players, they like to do, if you can't handle that, they like to do the Siegebreaker version of that, or even the GOM version of that. Just go up to GOM and then kind of waypoint around the map. For me personally, I do the Asmodan thing, where I just go to the the kill Asmodan quest, and then I just kind of waypoint around, get 5 stacks, make sure I go through, you know, the area where you do like the right before the bridge when you're on there. That area is a big wide open area, but it's tough to survive, so you got to have the right kind of gear if you're gonna do that. So something to think about, guys. I mean, keeping those envy stacks up as long as possible is priority, not remaking games and spamming games over and over again. Alright, the next one, to get away from the gameplay here, I'm going to show you something that players should not be doing. This doesn't really have anything to do with leveling, but the auction house was changed. You can see that there's more stats on here, which is a great thing. I like that. It does help out in a lot of situations, but when you're selling items or when you're buying items off the auction house, try not to be too specific on what you're searching for or buying or anything like that, because if you do that, you're going to run into some problems. And the problem is, you're not going to find any items because you want to weigh your item up against other items when you're selling items in the auction house. So if you're too specific and you pick like 6 different stats and you type in every single factor, like the exact amount, it's not going to work out so much. You can see right here that I'm select all resist, strength, vitality, lightning resist, and extra health from health globes. And now I'm typing in the exact amount, 0. There's 0 items on the auction house that fall under that thing. So now what you do is you take out the extra health. Oh look, now there's 1 item. Okay, that's not enough to match up against. You take off the lightning resist, which is not very important, and there you go. You got more items to choose from. Picking the more primary stats is going to be a big thing for selling and buying. Speaking of buying items on the auction house, guys, you gotta remember, yeah, the new legendaries came out, they're fancy, they look nice, they're awesome, and people are like, wow, some of them are so overpowered, and I agree. However, you do not want to just quick buy anything, no matter what the price is. You're like, I just gotta have that. Wait a week. You know, these items are circulating into the auction house, and just like in World of Warcraft and just like in other games that have an economy and an auction house, and it's like inflation of items, like say there's 3 amazing overpowered items in the auction house. Okay, well, generally those are going to be more expensive. So then more people find the same item with a similar stats and they put it on the auction house. Well, that guy undercuts that guy, and that guy undercuts that guy, and that guy undercuts that guy. The prices keep going down. Before you know it, a week later, there's 100 of those items on the auction house, and you went from spending 100 million gold to 10 million gold, and that's just the way it is. So that's how it goes in all of these type of games with the economy and with an auction house. Just wait it out, guys. Don't snap buy the best item right away unless you really can afford it, and the rest, unless it doesn't really matter to you on spending gold. But make the most of your gold and just kind of wait a little bit, wait it out, wait for more to get on the auction house, and who knows, by tomorrow you could save 10 million gold just because you waited one day. In the background, you'll see that I'm doing some Whimsyshire. I'm trying out this kind of like tornado build where I don't even actually do the whirlwind itself. I just like use the tornado and just keep running through the entire Whimsyshire. I plan to perfect this over and over again until I can actually run through, and it takes me like 5 minutes to just sprint through the entire act and just keep my fury going up and doing lots of damage. Now, speaking on Whimsyshire here, is it good? I mean, you mentioned Act 1, you mentioned Act 3 earlier there, Shinobi. Is Whimsyshire any good? I think it is. I mean, the mobs, they hit really hard. There's a lot of AoE aspects in there. You can grab a bunch of mobs together. Some good XP to be had from this place. Some good drops to be had as well. It's something that's different. You know, if you're doing Act 1 and, you know, you've cleared it completely, you know, you did all the waypoint jumping all over, your farm path is done, it's over with. Before you leave, why not, you know, clear a Whimsyshire? If you can't clear Whimsyshire in 10 to 15 minutes, then you shouldn't be doing it. Because if it's going to take you way too long to be doing it, then it's not worth your time. And if you're dying a lot, your repair costs are going to go up, even though they did lower those in this patch, but not by a lot. I think it was by like 25% or something like that. You know, like say my barbarian's completely red, it cost me about 30,000, I believe, to go from red to 100%. So that's something to keep in mind too, guys, is that Whimsyshire, it is a great place to go, but if you can't do it quickly and you're dying a lot, then it's not going to work out. But I wouldn't join Whimsyshire unless you have 5 stacks of Valor first, because you want that bonus XP before going in there, because you want every mob to count. Now the next one here is I hit Control Alt Delete, went into my task manager and went up to Agent for the Battle.net update agent, and I just canceled that out. And then also right click on Diablo 3, go to set priority and go to high. Now this is going to help you out a lot because it's going to reduce a lot of lag that comes from your computer and not just your internet and not just Diablo 3 servers. So that's something to keep in mind as well. You don't want to be grabbing a huge pack of mobs and you're AoEing them down and then you just start lagging a whole bunch because you have, like, you know, some small programs going on in the background or something like that. You want to set that priority high. That's a little tip you can do and it will help you out a lot. I wouldn't max it out though, but just setting it high is good enough, and making sure, I mean, that update manager comes up every single time you open up Diablo 3. So closing it out, you know, you can run it while you're sleeping or something if you want to do updates and stuff like that, but while you're playing, it's just going to slow you down and lag you, and that's one of the main reasons why people experience a lot of lag and they don't even realize it. Now guys, I get a lot of people and they ask me, you know, they say, it's so, like, the Paragon level thing is great, but it's just the same thing over and over again and I get bored and I can't keep myself, you know, having fun with the game. What are some tips that you can give me to kind of like make me not so bored? Well, one strategy that I use, because you know me, I play a lot. I play all the time. I play games every single day. I live and eat, sleep and breathe everything games. I love it. I mean, it's been the way since I've been a little kid. I love games, but you can get bored of games. Now what I do is I like to set goals and I like to push myself to the next level. What does that mean? So let's say I decide, hey, tonight I'm going to play Diablo 3. Let's do it. I want to go for about 8 hours or more. That's going to be tough to do. You might get bored. What do? Well, I set the goals for myself. I go, I'm Paragon level 1 right now. I want to be Paragon level 8 by tonight. Now that may seem like tough to do in a short amount of time like that, so it pushes you even harder to achieve that goal. Just like if you're leveling up. If you're leveling up and you say you're level 30, you say, man, I want to be level 50 by tonight before before I go to bed, or I want to be this and that before I do this and that, or I want to find a certain amount of legendaries tonight. Like, you set a goal out. Like for me, I do that sometimes where I go, I want to find 2 legendaries tonight, and you push yourself and you keep doing it. The reason why this works so well is because you're shooting towards a goal and you're pushing yourself to achieve something, rather than just mindlessly playing until you get bored of the game and then you decide not to play anymore. The goal should never be to play until you get bored. Play until you reach an achievement that you've set for yourself, and it's going to make the game a lot more enjoyable. So try it one time, trust me. Put it down in the comments below. Guarantee that time that you spent was way more enjoyable. Alright, I'm coming up with a lot more tips in the future. If you have some tips for Paragon leveling that helped you out, maybe you play something that's not a barbarian or a demon hunter, maybe you have some spec ideas, something like that, you can always contact me through YouTube or leave the comments down below in the comments. I do read them all the time, guys, I do, and personally, if I could have made this video 3 hours long and given you 1,000 tips, I would do that, because I try every day to push the game to the next level. Let me know if these tips helped you out down below. Just type down in the comments. Make sure you hit that like button and be subscribed so you can win a box of gung-ho. And if you want to, click that link down below. And if you want to purchase some, you can get 50% off. This isn't going to be going on for very long. You can get 50% off, and you can also get free shipping for anything you do purchase. And you also have a chance to win a box of gung-ho as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, it's Shinobi, and let's get into those games and let's get playing. And remember, be next level.